Hello, I am in front of Gwanghwamun subway station in Seoul. This is the place in front of the main gate of Gyeongbokgung Palace in Seoul. It can be considered the most central area in Seoul. The palace and the headquarters of major Korean companies are concentrated here. I have often taken videos of myself walking around Gwanghwamun Square in the past, but I walked around it again this time. This square is always a place where various events are held, so you can feel something new every time you visit. This video starts at Gwanghwamun, passes the entrance to Gyeongbokgung Palace, and walks to Insadong. It's not visible from here, but if you walk a little further down this road, you'll come to a square. There you can see high-rise buildings. If you look to the right, you can see KFC. There is a store with a bone shape drawn on the floor above it. It is a traditional Korean medicine hospital. Modern medicine was mainly developed in Europe and influenced Korea. However, before Western medicine came in, Korea also had its own unique medicine. It is similar to traditional Chinese medicine, but it developed in different directions. In the West, Oriental medicine is classified as alternative medicine and is not adopted as official medicine. In Korea, there is a separate license for traditional medicine. As a result, there is a debate in Korea as to whether traditional medicine is a proven medical practice or not. However, many people who have actually experienced recovery prefer traditional medicine for some diseases. I have also experienced recovery through traditional medicine. For sprain symptoms, you can expect faster recovery with Korean acupuncture than with Western medicine. Many Koreans say that traditional medicine is better than orthopedics when they have a sprain. As we were talking about medicine, we arrived at the square already. The stairs on the right are where you enter the subway station. The walls are filled with LED displays. This is probably the most beautifully decorated subway station entrance in the world. If you look to the left, you will see a magnificent building behind the fountain. It is the Grand Theater. It is a place where various performances such as orchestras, operas, ballets, and musicals are held. On the day I visited, there was a large display set up in front of the main theater building. It seems like they are preparing for an outdoor performance. When I looked up information, I found out that the day after I visited, there was actually an outdoor performance. I wish I had come a day later. What a pity. If you look to the right, you will see a square building covered with glass windows. That building is the building of KT, a Korean telecommunications company. It used to be a state-run telecommunications company in Korea, but it was privatized in 2002. You see a small building to the left of that glass building. That building is the US Embassy. You see a building with an LED display to the left of the US Embassy. That building is the Museum of Modern and Contemporary Korean History. When I look at the buildings here, I can understand how important this area is. You can think of it as the core area of Seoul, where history, economy, and politics all coexist. However, the plaza here is known as a failed plaza. The problem is that it is unnecessarily large, unlike the plazas in Europe. Tourists come to see the sights, but the residents here have no reason to come here. The starting point of this video was a street lined with restaurants. The distance between there and the plaza is quite far, so accessibility is poor. This plaza has improved compared to before. In the past, you had to walk on the crosswalk to get to this plaza. Since all car-only roads have been moved to the right since 2024, the number of pedestrians using this area has increased. So in order to make the most of the plaza, the Seoul Metropolitan Government frequently holds events here to attract people. Since people naturally don't use it, they use it as an event venue. From another perspective, since this is a place with a lot of tourists anyway, the current method may be more appropriate. You can see Gwanghwamun in the distance ahead. This is the main gate of Gyeongbokgung Palace, the representative palace of Korea. From there to here, there is a really wide pedestrian walkway. This place was designated as the new capital of Korea 500 years ago, and when the palace you see in front was built, it was already a very wide road. The reason the road was made wide is because it was the road the king took when leaving the palace. The road had to be wide because he had to take his subjects with him. On both sides of it, there were traditional buildings similar to the palaces today. So in the Middle Ages, this was where government offices were located. If you look to the left, you will see two tall buildings. They are government buildings. They still exist today, just as they did in the Middle Ages with government offices. The building on the left of the History Museum building is the Microsoft Korea branch building. There's a large square here too. It looks like someone is performing. It's a performance using Taekwondo.
와, 정말 대단합니다. 우리가 미팅 인사드리도록 하겠습니다. 자, 차렷, 경례! 와.
Most Koreans learn Taekwondo in elementary school. Parents send their children to Taekwondo academies to train their minds and bodies. That's why there are almost no Koreans who can't do Taekwondo. They even learn Taekwondo when they serve in the military. I didn't learn Taekwondo when I was young, but I learned it in the military. During my mandatory military service, a first Dan in Taekwondo was required to get promoted by one rank. Taekwondo is also a requirement for taking the Korean police exam. I also got a first Dan in the military, but I don't remember it at all now. My body is stiff, so I can't even kick.
네, 다음 한번 정도만 보면 될 것 같고요. 네, 보시도록 하겠습니다. 앞으로 와주세요. 네, 카메라 주시면 저희가 찍어드리도록 하겠습니다. 안녕하세요. 안녕하세요. 이렇게 V를 보면 V. 오케이, 찍겠습니다. 하나, 둘, 셋. and 오케이, 아니, 그런 것 같아요. 오케이. 굿 잡. 1, 2, 3. 네, 감사합니다. 네, 다음 팀 드리겠습니다.
Entering Gwanghwamun, you will see the entrance to Gyeongbokgung Palace. In 1392, the military forces that could not stand the corrupt politicians in the past started a revolution and established a new country. Gyeongbokgung Palace was built when Seoul was made the new capital. One of the characteristics of Korean palaces is that there is a mountain behind the palace. This served to defend against enemy attacks from the north and block the cold winds blowing from Russia in the winter. This has been passed down to the present day, and there is a perception that a good house site should have a mountain behind it. That is why when you look at the houses of wealthy Koreans, there is always a mountain behind them. There seems to be a special performance at the palace today. I can hear the sounds of traditional Korean instruments. I will only walk to the palace entrance, so I cannot see the performance. I'm coming out of the east gate of the palace and walking back to where the Microsoft building is. This time I'm going to walk to the left. I'm going to where Insadong Street is. Have you seen the small traditional building standing like an island on the road? It's called Dongsipjagak. It functioned as a watchtower to protect the palace. In the past, the palace was much larger than it is now. That watchtower was connected to Gwanghwamun by a wall. It's also my personal favorite space. It's a beautiful road with a harmony of traditional buildings and high-rise buildings. If you walk along the road for about 3 minutes, you will arrive here. If you cross the crosswalk on the right here, you will reach Insadong Street. It is very close to the palace. Let's start by walking from the building on the left. This is the Seoul Craft Museum. Insadong Street has been famous for craft shops since ancient times. This is because this was the place where royal artists worked. So it is natural that there is a craft museum here. The museum building was originally a high school built in 1947. Students actually studied there until 2017. It has now been remodeled for exhibition purposes. This is the crosswalk I saw earlier. You can see Insadong Street in front. Insadong Street is a famous tourist attraction in Seoul that is well known to foreigners. It is a place where you can experience traditional Korean crafts, traditional art, and traditional tea. It has been known as an art street since the Middle Ages in Korea, and it has continued to this day. The road I've been walking so far is also a common course when traveling to Seoul. Starting from Gwanghwamun Square, I visit Gyeongbokgung Palace and then look at traditional crafts on Insadong Street. The time I visited here was 9 p.m. on a Friday. There weren't as many people as I thought. This place is visited by more foreigners than Koreans. Most people come here after visiting the palace during the day. That's why there are more people during the day than at night. Usually people come here during the day and visit Insadong Street in the evening. Koreans tend to prefer Gyeongbokgung Street, which is at the end of this street, rather than Insadong. The reason is that there are more grilled meat restaurants in Gyeongbokgung than here. There are a lot of Korean barbecue restaurants there. Koreans like to grill their own meat and eat sam vegetables and soju. This is something that foreigners find strange when they come to Korea. When you order meat at a restaurant, raw meat is served and the customer grills it themselves. Nowadays, most restaurant staff grill the meat in front of you, but in the past, customers really grilled their own meat. Only side dishes that were eaten with the meat were served as a meal at the restaurant. There aren't many restaurants like that here in Insadong. There are more Korean restaurants that serve a complete meal than restaurants where you grill the meat yourself. That's why couples tend to come here to enjoy a date. Korean barbecue is not good for couples. It's very noisy, and the smell of meat oil sticks to your clothes, so people don't like it. Korean barbecue is usually enjoyed by families, friends, or coworkers rather than couples. Let's go inside the Samjigil building on the left. It's a place that specializes in selling crafts and travel souvenirs. There are so many individual shops there that it's a great place to look around. This concludes my evening walk around Seoul. Thank you for watching the video.